So after she had grabbed my change, she kept on running after me, and she's making a big scene in front of the mall. And everybody initially thought I was at fault, that I didn't pay. Like in the US, prostitution is illegal. So to me, the fact that you're going to people or insinuating going to the authorities saying that you did prostitution to me was crazy, but apparently it's not illegal here. Everybody was against me initially. Luckily, I had my text messages saying I don't do hookups. Even on the app, I said no hookups. I wrote specifically. So that's when people were on my side. And there was this one guy with the tuk-tuk. He just was like, yo, hop in, I'll take you. And everybody was pushing her, and I don't know what they were saying in Swahili at the time. I was just new. If it happened today, I would understand a lot of what was said, but I didn't understand any Swahili yet. But I could tell that people were definitely against her and pushing her. That crazy girl actually ran after the tuk-tuk that I was in, and she's like going like this, you're not safe. You think you're going anywhere? You can't go anywhere. uh because nobody had warned me about that. So you'll hear, that coastal girls are beautiful, they're chill, they know how to have fun. But most people forget to add the point. Sometimes that fun comes with a price tag. So that whole scene changed how I viewed my dating on the coast here in Kenya, because I realized it's not even about greed. It's about sometimes survival, sometimes about showing off, getting money, so they can show off against their other girlfriends. But that realization didn't hit me until later. But at that moment, I was just sitting there like with my coffee when I got back home. Well, it is what it is. Yeah, so after the whole escapade, the embarrassment hit me like the humidity in Mombasa, hot and instant. And after everything that happened, I was like, I'm not even mad. I'm just like, of course, this is how my Nyali morning is gonna end. So, but here's the part that hit me after. She wasn't just crazy, but I'm assuming that she was hurting financially. But to go around sleeping with men, especially when the man like me specifically stated on a profile and even within the messages on WhatsApp that I don't do hookups, I reiterated that same message, and still goes and tries to con a man is still to me unexcusable. See, in her mind, we had an agreement somehow, or that I'm obligated, the sense of entitlement, which happens often here in the coast. Even if I thought it was just vibes, she saw it as a business deal. Her company was alright, but like I said before, I wasn't even attracted to her. And that's when I started realizing how deep this whole coastal expectation thing runs down here. It's not even about being a bad person, it's about the conning, the economy, and the survival, because there's not a lot of jobs out here, not a lot of opportunities. But at the same time, a lot of these females place themselves in this position because they come from all parts of Kenya, and knowingly, there's not a lot of industry here in Mombasa. The biggest industry is tourism, has never recovered since COVID. It's actually since what I've seen since 2023. Last year I saw less tourists than in 2023, and this year I'm seeing less tourists than last year or 2023. I see it going downhill. So I don't see why, unless you have that specific idea in your mind to try to sell your body. And listen, I'm not trying to put down anybody or anything, but you got to be a little bit more professional if you're going to take that as a profession, and be a little bit more honest about it. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to con somebody and you're wasting their time. Especially when I was just being nice, honestly. I really felt like telling her to go back home. I was not attracted to her. I wasn't. So, but in Mombasa, especially in Bambuya and Mtwapa, a lot of women are beautiful, charming, confident, but many of them survive off these silent arrangements. They don't just say, pay me. They'll just assume you know the code. Anyway, that whole morning humbled me. It taught me that in places like the coast, you got to read context, not just conversation. Because people communicate with expectations here without saying a single word. And there's expectations in other parts of Kenya, but it doesn't get to this point. This happens predominantly in the coast. Going back, I'll be real. The experience didn't make me better. It just made me smarter. Because after that day, I learned how to spot the signs early and still enjoy dating in Kenya without turning every night into a financial agreement. And I could make another video about how if you don't pay or give a tip in the coast in Kenya, expose you, quote unquote. I don't know what is there to expose, because you're exposing yourself if you have sex with somebody. But if you pay, they'll keep their mouth shut. They'll go to social media, predominantly TikTok and Instagram, and tarnish a man's name. That's something you need to be careful. After that whole Nyali street chase, I went home, closed the door, sat on the couch, and just stared at the ceiling like, what the hell just happened to me? I'm laughing about it now, but that morning humbled me. And since then, I've learned the three biggest red flags when you're dating on the Kenyan coast.